us more. Give us more.
Grab your snacks, pour your drink, pull that chair up close, don't blink. Chat is warm, screens aglow. We're just tuning up the show. A stream will start after this tune. Stick around, we'll be live soon. Take a breath, take your time. Let the countdown keep the rhyme. Stream will start after this tune. Little wait, big cartoon. Stay right there, don't you zoom. Stream will start after this tune. Mods are setting every scene. Frames all fresh and squeaky clean. Cable jungle tamed at last. Good things never rush too fast. Oh yeah, stream will start after this tune. Stick around, we'll be live soon. Take a breath, take your time. Let the countdown keep the rhyme. Stream will start after this tune. Chat can hum along in bloom. Stay right there, don't you zoom. Stream will start after this tune. If the wheel spins slow, let the swing still flow. Every bar, every beat brings the show to your seat. Hey! 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 Stream will start after this tune. Stick around, we'll be live soon. Take a breath, take your time. Let the countdown keep the rhyme. Stream will start after this tune. By the last bright sax line swoon, we'll be live in the same room. Stream will start after this tune.
He wakes up late, spilled soda on the floor, trips on cables, falls right through the door. Whoa. Cartridge in hand, cape dragging on the ground, hits the power, everything goes loud. Taraka, the gaming beast, living life on start and reset. Retro games and goofy scenes you ain't seen. It's crazy as the end. Oh yeah! Hit that screen, you'll laugh all week. Pixels, pratfalls, jokes on repeat. Taraka, the gaming beast, coming soon to your Twitch seat. Grandma walks in, thinks it's just a phase. He hands her the pad, she's winning halfway. Neighbors complain about the shouting upstairs, then join the match. Now they're a trio of dares. Taraka, the gaming beast, living life on start and reset. Retro games and goofy scenes you ain't seen. He's crazy as he yet. Whoa! Click that stream, the squad's all here.
I think one of the best features of this game is the intro, but the game itself, this is actually one of the games that is done. When you get spells. Yeah, yeah, the spell combo. Well, you've played this game. I know the spell combo thing is like something that it's written in the manual because when I first played it, when I was in college back in the day in America, it didn't. It says something like you. Oh, of course. Well, I'm not focusing, and this is a game where, of course, you gotta focus. I haven't put on any of the cheats, so. I think the only shootable sprite is the body of the owl itself, not the wings. Oh, yeah, well. Okay. Oh, I never had that menu before. Maybe I didn't use it correctly. Oh, that's cheats, but that's cheating. Okay, okay, okay. I remember you could get a sword as a upper, like, option follower that would damage enemies. Anyway, I really love the animation in this game and the setting. It's just like a fantasy fever dream. And me, of course, running in the fucking... That one projectile wasn't hard to dodge. Oh yeah, okay, okay, yeah. The spell menu isn't cheating, yes, because that's in the manual, yeah. Ah, okay, you have to get scrolls, yeah. It's been a while, it's been a couple of years since I played this. But this screen alone is fucking amazing, I gotta say. It's just a great painting, and I'm not sure, I think in the Amiga they couldn't just scan in paintings, they would have to do it like with the paint programs, like pixel by pixel, so it's like a real achievement, really, I gotta say. Or as the kids these days say pixel art. Okay, let's try to actually play. I don't think I've gotten that far legitimately. I might try with cheats, but... God damn it, this was... It was one projectile, but it was really quick. I'll check your message in a second. See, shmups are not great, especially difficult shmups are not great for streaming, but... I mean, they look cool, but... Reading messages. Okay. Yeah, that's not a scroll, that's a potion. I played enough D&D to know that. Yeah. Okay, I think the potions just make my sonic attack bigger. The sonic waves that I shoot. I always felt like if Shadow of the Beast was a shmup. I mean, there's a shmup level there. Dot, dot, dot. Okay. Just curious. I'm just trying shit out now, so... I think I did beat the first level legit. It gets, like, exponentially harder as these games tend to be. I think shmups in general are very rarely easy. They're just like different levels of difficult. There's definitely easier ones and harder ones for sure, but... Have you noticed the line yet? Which line? I want to read your bigger message in a second, but... I know if I look away, I'm gonna die instantly. I'm gonna die anyway soon. This line. Oh, the wave? No, I haven't. Oh, is that a glitch? A graphical glitch? No, the waves look good here. I'm looking for it. The one you're showing is like... Probably I might have passed the glitchy part. You know what? Like a glitch here and there. These games... Making a game in general was a pain in the ass and always... Oh, it's now also... Maybe nowadays it's a bit easier with engines and stuff. Oh yeah, that's the sword one. Okay, that's a separate power-up. That's not a scroll. In the middle. I keep a lookout. Now I'm curious. We'll be behind the boss in the middle later. When he dies. Okay. Is this just the mid-boss? This could be just the mid-boss. But I'm not sure. I think this is the boss. Sword, do your thing. There we go. This boss is not that hard yet. It's just if you want to rush it, you can get yourself killed. This is like a one-hit kill shmup, so... Alright. One moment, Escordian. Anyway, I'm not seeing the glitch here. Oh yeah, wait, I do see it. I do see it. Yep. Right there. Yeah, I see it. Wait, can I push pause? You know what? I'll do this pause. Okay, just give me a moment here. There's a write-up by the artist for this game, real cool. He talks about how he made the art and the dev situation. I think I might have read this, but it's been a while. But maybe not. Then you had like the 3 dots. Have you noticed this line art yet? Yeah, and then this is this. Seen it once. So I did see it now with the boss. It was the final boss. I remember correctly. You see it when he dies. Yeah, I did see it when he died. This is also a great art. Yeah, there's a signature too. Deservedly show too. Okay. We get it. I think this level does get exponentially harder, if I remember correctly. Okay. Just scrolling down for my own sake so I see everything. So, Escordian, have you been streaming today? I haven't streamed in a couple of days. I had a couple of things to do, and of course, this wasn't hard. This was just me not paying attention. Not respecting the game. This might be actually fun. The only cheat might be like... Oh, shit. I have to break the bottles. Killed by a power-up. Escordian, have you streamed today? I won't argue with the game. I'm a top player, at least here. Apparently. I'm on the very low end, but... I'll ask this, right? Yeah, I've been streaming random Friday today, so took viewer requests, but now I'm going on a mini vacation for like 2 weeks. Gotcha, man. Yeah, man. That's important too, to take time off for yourself. Has there been any standout games that people asked for? Or any games that you chose that you enjoyed? It was like all random that you haven't played yet, so... I mostly play games nowadays when I, at least here, that I haven't played, but I do make exceptions. Before you came, I tried out Impossible, and I wasn't impressed. Yeah, this one makes my shot bigger, my sonic shot, right. So we have the potions that makes my shot stronger, and then scrolls. I don't think... At least the power-ups are not RNG. They're like... They come at fixed positions, so you can count on that. Let's break this. Also, these potions just break. I don't know if these other potions, they have potentially a power-up or not. Curious how that works. I could have avoided that. That was... Okay, I gotta pause if I read it. There's no other way. Xenon 2 was good. Yeah, I heard good things about Xenon 2. Morton Strikes Back and Big Nose the Caveman was okayish. Roller Coaster Rumble is alright. And Hydrosis and Paranoia Complex just made me confused. Okay. Could be one of those with like a gimmicky control or like mechanics. Where you need like the manual to even figure out what's going on. Big Nose the Caveman I heard of. Those are the games I played today, yeah. That was me messing up with the pause. But this is a good game. I think this deserves... This is where the vision, style, form, and function come together in Amiga, which is... It's either form or function. But then again, I haven't played... There's many games I haven't played, so... I wouldn't want to... I haven't even really delved into RPGs yet. Adventure games are probably going to be good, but a lot of them I have played on PC as well, so they probably will just sound better. And maybe be a little bit prettier. Or a lot prettier, depending. Because the Sierra Classics and the... not every Sierra Classic, but... And LucasArts Classics, I've played most of those. The only ones I haven't played through are the... But I have used walkthroughs because I try to avoid it, but eventually there comes a puzzle where sometimes I know what I want to do, that I think I know what, but the game wants me to do it in a very specific way. And if I don't do it in that specific way, it just can't handle it. Okay, this one was a shit play, so... Sierra games are usually lazy ports on Amiga. Oftentimes, the DOS versions are better. Some other studios made good ports. I hear, though, that the LucasArts game ports are good. The Sierra really didn't care about Amiga. I have played... The first time I played Leisure Suit Larry, when we played... That was on the Commodore 64. That was pretty good. That was I mean, it was the same... Pretty much the same as on DOS. And that's C64. I don't know about Amiga. Made good ports, yeah. Which is sad because the Amiga has a lot of... Had like, especially when it came out, it had the most advanced graphics and sound chip. Now it was overtaken, but eventually, but especially compared to the PCs back then, the IBM stuff, it was like king for a while. Might actually play some beat 'em ups today. It's a genre that I do like. Cause I like shmups, but I suck at them, to be honest. The enhanced port, I saw that, yes. So it shows how good it is. Like, the original Final Fight on Amiga sucks, but Golden Axe is a pretty good port. Graphically, it's just control-wise, because of the one-button controller, they were hampered. But it still works. It still plays pretty good for Amiga. I like Franco's The Crazy of Revenge, the Polish World Software Presents, and Doman. They looked very scuffed as games, like graphically ugly, but they... Especially Doman plays really well. Yeah, look, if I'm just gonna play Golden Axe, I'm gonna play the Mega Drive or the arcade version, right? Like the Mega Drive, the arcade has the best graphics and sound, but the Mega Drive has longer gameplay and is more of a challenge, you know? So, at least Golden Axe, and Mega Drive has of course Golden Axe 2 and 3. And then you have Revenge of Death Adder, which is probably the best Golden Axe game out there. Although, 1 I think is probably, just because historically, you know. Oh no, Franco. No, not Franco. They play Amiga through... was risky to pause even, but oh no, not Franco. I only play Amiga though, so for me it will always be the Amiga version. Yeah, well, they have the enhanced Final Fight port, so. And a lot of the Amiga projects, because I mean, in the last years, space. Oh, it has an in-game pause. Of course, I forgot. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. But for me, it's also important because I'm just using WinFSUAE. Although, probably I should just use Amiga Live. But I have like Launchbox set up and whatever, and I'm one of those guys that likes to track their time, how much time they wasted on video games. Damn it. This wasn't hard. This is not a hard boss. One pixel away. This was a good combo. You can't get greedy with you have to follow the pattern. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I don't know what I like about Amiga. It has, especially like I don't know, like there's a certain style of Amiga game that I enjoy mostly for the vibe. Often, you know, even Shadow of the Beast. I think I talked with you about this already. It's like a very unbalanced game where it expects you to just memorize everything, and because they were really just it was like a really just like Unreal was for the PC. Even though Unreal is a better game, but Shadow of the Beast was just a graphical demo, really, or Barbarian. They were the early games that were nice graphic demos to show, graphic and sound demos to be specific. But what I wanted to say is that because these old computers, you can learn the coding and they have an inbuilt keyboard. They never stop making, even though like commercially, like Amiga when it closed down, I think in '97, and they stopped making games, and it was basically the commercial end. The homebrew scene, I mean, now in the last years, they're making so many games. Lionheart is very good. Lionheart, I agree, was Thalamus's because they made these RPGs that I want to try. The Amber Moon. I'll do one more run, and then I'll switch. I could go to Lionheart actually, but I think was it Thalamus? Yeah, Thalamus did really. I really like their graphical style, and I want to play through the Amber series. It was supposed to be a trilogy: Amber Moon and Amber Heart. I think I could be wrong, but those when Thalamus closed, they made the game Albion. It's a German game because I think Thalamus. They did other stuff too, I know, but I find like at least one of their most impressive games was Lionheart because they could do all like these graphical visual things on an Amiga 500, and it was also a good platform, although a difficult one, but still good. But yeah, they do other stuff, and I want to try out the other stuff. But yeah, some of the team they left and they made Albion, and Albion is a game for DOS, released by Blue Byte. And Albion is a game that I thought was really cool as a kid, and I think it still holds up. Some of the mechanics are a bit clunky, but the world and the setting and the visuals are really cool, like for an RPG. And the magic system is, like the combat system is a bit interesting. Oh yeah. Sorry. Thalion. I'm mixing shit up. Yes, Thalamus is different. Thalamus, I think they did Creatures, but Thalion, they made the Amber games. I missed my power up. Oh well, I have to live with that. Thalion, yes. And those guys from Thalion, they went on to make Albion, which is like the spiritual successor to the Amber games, especially also visually and gameplay wise. Thalamus, yes. Thalion is different, yes. I think, yeah, Thalamus is still around, yeah. In one form or another, yes. You are correct. Thank you, Escordian. But yeah, Thalion had a very cool graphical style, very unified, even over the different genre games that they made, you know? Zetsnoid and Rowcraft from... Oh, yeah, yeah, right. Rowcraft is by Thalamus. Is it also the original guys that started Thalamus? Did Thalamus close as a company and then reopen, or did the name got sold? Do you know that? That would be interesting to me. Because Rowcraft looks really cool. My greed killed me here. I wanted the sword. They only publish stuff. Oh yeah, okay. But even as a publisher, you can be like, you know, like motivate people to make games or like filter what games you wanna like release. But yeah. Rowcraft looks legit really cool. So I'm really happy that you have like sites like itch.io or even Steam or GOG where they have like new Amiga games, but especially itch.io. New Amiga, new C64 stuff. Or other computers like even the VIC-20. Like I think last year they released like over 20 games in the scene. Like small and bigger ones, you know, commercially released or also just free. I'm gonna get through this. This is like, so far a pretty good run where I missed almost all the power-ups, but I didn't get killed yet, so. Mixed bag. But the power-ups are not like that necessary. Okay. Like, especially for you, since you only stream Amiga, you'll have like always Amiga games to like, because I don't think people will ever stop making Amiga games. There might be less in a year sometimes, but I mean they released an engine that even makes it easier to make Amiga games. I mean they had game engines before like Amos and stuff like that, but recently like with visual like coding where it's like drag and drop partially. Scorpion, yes, and Red Pill. Yeah, I didn't know about Red Pill, but Scorpion I checked out. I mean, obviously you still have to do coding, or your game will be better, or you can do more types of games if you know how to code. At least that's what I've seen, but they made some pretty interesting games. I've seen a guy working on a new port to Castlevania, because there was a Castlevania game. I actually reviewed the Castlevania. I compared it to the NES one way back on my YouTube channel. Man, that one stinks. And that one is from Apollosa Software. That one is sad because it's a Hungarian company. They made some good games. I think they actually programmed Echo the Dolphin and Blades of Steel. But see, this guy I like. These guys who write on the bugs. I think that one is kind of neat. Neat sprite. But yeah, with Castlevania, the graphics weren't that bad, but they could have been much better. But the frame rate is just horrific. Like, the game is just... ugh. Like, I didn't know if they didn't have enough time, or they just didn't care. They just want to have a paycheck. It could be both. It could be both. Because they have to really recreate the game from scratch. Okay. Okay, so the potions that you shoot, They can have a ghost in there, but they also can have potentially a power up. Oh, nice! I have both swords now. Have you ever played the Choaniki games? They have like these. That's a really weird shmup. Literally made to be as weird and like bad. That's literally the genre in their eyes, like campy, I guess you would say. God, I didn't see that. Okay, here it's like that one's a sneaky projectile. Camp, yeah. Love camp, yeah. Choaniki is like one of the, especially when it comes to shmups. I mean, Parodius is pretty camp, but like something can be cheesy, and camp is like where it's like more intentional. But yeah, it's a little bit different, I would say. I did pretty well in this run. I got as far with the thing. I might actually, this is one I might play with a trainer. I was actually thinking if I play with cheats, but I might not do it. Do I get to write in my stuff? Oh, fuck it. I accidentally started. Okay, one more run. I don't mind. This is a good game. I was waiting to put in my high score, but probably just zoned out. You play the way you want. Yeah, I know, but it's like where... Like, I want to at least attempt to play it as the developers intended, but... People were just kind of nuts back then, you know, like... And if you have to, like... You have limited resources, limited lives, very limited lives, and stuff like that. It forces you to actually get better, you know, get good, as they say. However, sometimes I do like to just use cheats and just see the game as far as I can and see, because I was thinking like if I play it with a trainer with infinite lives. Although that, with a shmup like this, that would be crazy. Because I thought maybe making into a drinking game. Now, not every time I die, I would have like a I would take a shot. I would rather just take a sip of beer or something, because fuck that. I would get shit-faced really quick with some of these games. And I'm not really about that anymore. I like to drink maybe sometimes here and there, but it's mostly like beer or whatever. But even that is like rare now, so I would take a sip. Also, I like this game has an auto, like a rapid fire that you just push down the button. I've been playing like older shmups on MAME and also some older console shmups where they expect you to... I mean, that's why they invented turbo buttons. Bless your heart, game. Often deaths comes from being greedy, from getting this power up, even though you don't need it. I could have completely avoided that. But yeah, like a drinking game. I have done I think a drinking game with XCOM, the reboot, where they actually made the strategy remade it. I mean, that has been like around for a while now too. But that's been a while ago. That was a Let's Play. This guy takes a lot of hits, this extra skull guy. I would say this game is difficult, but I think Apedia, because it has a charge-up weapon and you have to tap the buttons, I suck at that much more. I mean, this one I didn't have to die. Come on. Vorführeffekt, that's how they say it in German. Whenever you actually present, you do something where they watch you, you get worse. Okay. Okay, it wasn't good enough for the high score table. Let's switch games. That's just how it works, you know. That's how it does work, yeah. It really does. The streaming effect, some people say it, yeah. Let me see here. Let me try, because I did want to do try some RPGs, but those are like, I love RPGs are probably my favorite genre, but they also are like a genre where it takes a lot of, especially older RPGs, you really gotta focus in, you really gotta read up on that shit. You know, we talked about Lionheart, might as well play that. Okay, I do the up button. I'm gonna do the little graphical. Why not? But I won't do the cheats. It require much. It's more like a dungeon crawler. Hero Quest I have played, and I guess what? 1 second. Okay. Give me 1 moment. We kind of fucked up the emulator. Have to restart it. Okay. Up. We do the fixes, the graphical fixes, because I'm curious what that does. Hero Quest. Okay. I can do more complex games too. I've played through. I mean, I played through like games like Wizardry 6, for example, and I have started Wizardry 7 with that same party. Hero Quest is cool. I had the board game as a kid, okay, and I still have that board. I still have it. We used to play. I don't know if you played Hero Quest. Yeah, that one I can play for sure. I probably will play it then. Yeah, it's a good idea. We had we had Hero Quest on C64. I think we had the sequel. Okay. Are there any options here? Played on normal like min. Yeah, fucking Hero Quest. Everybody had Hero Quest. Hero Quest was great. Hero Quest really. Okay. Okay, this is gonna be a problem. Maybe not so bad. This one I might try the Amiga Live version because my joystick has the buttons on where I'm not used to having the attack and jump. Okay. Oh yeah. The direction and attack. I have to get used to the controls. Oh, you see nothing. You didn't see my failures then. Okay, it should be... Oh. Thank you for giving me the trip. I'll just fix that. I know what the problem is, and I'll get that fixed. Properties, because it says here Amiga 1200, but I know that it's not. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Apologize that it wasn't there. Even though I have the screen here. Pick up the Thalion logo for powers. Okay, so we have up, down. We have this. Yeah, show my muscles, yeah. Gotta work out more, girly man. 1200 has less slowdown, so I guess that's why it's up. Yeah, because I still think that what they did, that this game ran on an Amiga 500 is kind of amazing as a engineering feat. but I think it's just do the 1200. Come on, just do AGA and just you know. Yeah, feel my flexing feet. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, OCS had a bigger market, so I understand. Yeah, because it was the cheaper machine, right? So obviously, and oh yeah, I already picked it up. Yeah. Bouncy, bouncy, bounce. There's some blind jumps I don't like, but okay, I should have taken the low road. Anakin, I'm on the high road, or something, whatever he said. I have the high ground, yeah, but I have to choose the low ground now. Okay. Oh, I could have just gone down. I could have slid down. Okay. I made it harder than it had to be. I'm curious to see if the controls have the buttons, because right now, I don't know if you see it, my jump is here and my attack is here, and I with FSUAE, so yeah, so it's anyway, so it's not on a with FSUAE. I think you can change the button config, but it's, I don't know, with Amiga emulation, everything is more painful than it has to be, I feel like. Except Amiga. Amiga Live is just, that's something I can like, oh, I forgot that those platforms do that. Amiga Live is just really cool, and I should probably, it's so easy. It is. I have some reasons why I use this, but I mean, because Amiga Live also uses WinFS UAE, which uses UAE, you know, but it is better set up. Like, the whole system is better set up. The little turn attack for no reason. So, okay. Yeah. For certain games that I don't have on my setup, I use Amiga Live for the challenge, some of the challenge games. I forget there's nothing there. Sometimes there is, when you slide down on these vines, there's sometimes bonus items, but not here. This is, the vines here is just to show you, it just teaches you how the game works, which is good. That's good design. Show me flexing. I use, when emulating, I use FSUAE or Amiberry, Amiga Live sometimes. I haven't used Amiberry. Is Amiberry any good? Is it like harder to use but produces better results? Okay. Oh yeah. I won't get that anymore, yeah. I missed my chance! Okay. Pro strats here. Amiberry is kind of like WinUA, but Amiberry is not available for Windows if you're on that. Only Linux and Raspberry. I would love to get into Linux, because I know it's like, I hate Windows and it's a resource hog and spyware inbuilt and all this shit. But I'm guessing I'm a nerd, but I'm not that nerdy. Like, setting this up. Also, I'm like, there's programs and games and stuff. I know a lot of it works on Linux, Like I have GOG and whatever, and a lot of it works also on Linux. Same with a lot of Steam games and such, but there's other things that I don't know. Maybe it will come to that I switch to Linux finally. Raspberry. I mean, I know the Raspberry Pi. Is that the same thing, or is that an operating? Is Raspberry based on Linux? Because I know Linux doesn't has, because it's open source. There's many different kinds of operating systems. Some of them are like forks and whatever. Okay. We go here. We go here. Raspberry can use Linux, yeah. Okay. I love that sound, the woo. But come on. Okay. This game I did play through with cheats, but just to see what's up. I might actually do it with, even with like never-ending lives. See, that's kind of bullshit because it's like a blind jump. You just have to get through. But even with never-ending lives, it's still going to be difficult. It's just like you don't have to go through the first part as often. Never used it though, yeah. My friend is a programmer by trade, and he has tried to use Linux as an operating system. And he messed around with the Raspberry Pi. We'll do a full game. Okay, yeah. It's a continue, yeah. So I have to go. I have the power. From here, the guy does look a bit like He-Man with that armor, the cross armor. Although I know he's like a lion humanoid. So I guess, which, you know, he could be Lion-O from Thundercats, which is just, I guess, furry He-Man or something. But yeah. The Leg of Doom. Well, a lot of people make the mistake of switching blindly. When switching an operating system for daily use, you have to kind of ease into it and be patient and willing to learn. A lot of people don't like that. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I agree with you. This is the same thing when, like, a totally different topic, like tabletop role-playing games is another passion of mine. And most people, they play like the latest version of Dungeons & Dragons. Now it's like 5th edition. And it's like with wargaming, almost as bad. It's not as bad, but kind of. Where it's like the big 200-pound gorilla. It's like the one that everybody knows and plays. But like, nobody's willing to switch, especially younger players. They are not willing to switch like often when I tell them, hey, I play Old School Revival, which is a revival of the 1st edition rules. And they want to have this whatever official new rules is, you know, even if it's bad, you know. And it's like where, like, people don't want to, or like try to get them to play any other RPG. Maybe if an RPG, sometimes they're willing to play it if it's like somehow like popular at the moment or talked about. You can't fight it, you have to work with it. Yeah, yeah. You can't fight it, you have to work with that. I agree with that. Now sometimes if there's a trend. Oh yeah, oh wait, I can stab down, I forgot. Look, Dad, I can stab down. Whoa, yeah. But like getting them to play an older RPG, but if it's like a newer one that is like popular at the time, like if a streamer has picked it up or whatever. Like, I don't know. Are you familiar with like tabletop role-playing game at all? And I'm not assuming, because just because we're nerds here, not everybody's into Like, I'm not into trading cards really that much at all. So that's something I'm like pretty much. Also, wargaming. I'm not wargaming. I want to try it. Tabletop card stuff. I've tried a little bit, but it wasn't my thing really. But yeah, I play a lot of TTRPGs, yeah, but not a big fan of the D&D rule set. Okay, yeah, so that's cool. So you know what I'm talking about. What do you play? Do you play Call of Cthulhu? Do you play GURPS? Do you play Phase Rip? Do you play, I don't know, the Demon Lord one? Mork Bork? Lamentations? Lamentations of Flame Princess for the VOD. There's many really cool ones. Come on. I forgot. Here I just forgot. Just jump down. They're playing with your instincts. They want that you think you should jump far, but you shouldn't. You should just drop down like a potato. Right. Yeah, this is kind of a bullshit jump, so you have to memorize that, yeah. Like, there should be a mechanic that I can look down, but it's a bit old school hardness. A bit artificial hardness. Okay, yeah. Now this level gets a bit bullshit. Not too bad yet. Wait. I've played a lot Drakar o Demoner. I know Drakar o Demoner. Tassar och Morhar. Ghostbusters RPG, Cthulhu, Noir, Mutant, Tales from the Loop, Coriolis. Yeah, Escordian, I think you're from Sweden, I think, because Drakar o Demoner and, I mean, Mutant, they are Swedish. They're like the biggest ones. And Tassar och Morhar also sounds Swedish. That one I don't know. I haven't played those, but I know that Drakar o Demoner was that, yeah, and Mutant. Mutant sounds really cool, but also Drakar o Demoner because you have like the duck race. They even had a computer game made. They had a new release for the Drakar o Demoner recently. Yeah, I lived in Germany. I grew up in Germany, so for me it was the Dark Eye or the Schwarze Auge. You have the computer game twice. Nice. You probably heard of the Dark Eye. I don't think if they tried with the Dark Eye, they tried to translate it sometimes. They had a French version. I don't know if they had the Swedish version. The fourth edition had the first English attempt, English translation. And the fifth one does have more translated into English. This guy has a quite dramatic death. I do like how the bugs, the spiders, you hit them and they fall down and then they explode. Okay, I cannot do a DuckTales bounce. Okay, well, I can, but I have to do it every time. This level also looks really cool. It's like this insect hive. Okay. You haven't heard of the Dark Eye. In German, it's das Schwarze Auge. You see, most countries, when TTRPGs were introduced, they had first D&D, and then they had a fantasy game or some kind of game of their own. And in Germany, it's the Dark Eye or the Schwarze Auge, which is technically the Black Eye, but they realized when they translate to English, in English it sounds weird. But it's like pretty much a fantasy RPG, although the world is a bit more low mana, and it's more like Renaissance, although you don't have guns. But it's like semi-medieval, but more late medieval Renaissance. Okay. We have our own local RPGs, yeah. Yeah, of course. In Hungary, because I am also half Hungarian, it is Magus. The Dark Eye is a bit more famous. There has been multiple games, video games released for it. Do you know the RPG, the PC RPG Drakensang? You might heard of that one. Oh, Spider of Doom. Because I know if I go under him, he's gonna just jump on me. I wish you could just pogo stick them like Dagobert, like Uncle Scrooge. No, I don't think so. You might like it, especially at least the art. But yeah, Drachar Demonar, I think they have the new version has also an English translation. I haven't played it yet, but I know people who have. Yeah, this is more difficult than I remember. Okay. Should I just leg him? Oh, I can only hit him when he opens his chitin. Okay. 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 There's the little dance. Oh, I messed up. I'll do a full gameplay. I mostly played the old version of the 80s though. I actually played the old version too for Dark Eye. I played the 3rd edition, which is the oldest. When I was a kid, we played the 2nd edition, and then we played this 3rd edition. And the 3rd and 2nd edition, they're very compatible. They're very similar. Like the main rolling mechanic is the same, even in up to the 5th edition. But with the 4th edition, it became like a more modular game. It became a lot like GURPS, and a bit too mechanical for me. And the 5th edition built on that, because people really like the 4th edition. Yeah, I don't know if I'll pass this level. Could just avoid these bugs instead of trying to fight them all. This would be smarter. Have you like a Mutant also had a game like a couple of years ago. I also know about Mutant Chronicles, but I heard like the fans of Mutant where it just has Mutant but the setting is completely different. And there's some of the Swedish fans, at least that I talked about, didn't like Mutant Chronicles really. I like the art for Mutant Chronicles though. And I have read some of the rules. I would try it out. They had like a war game too, a skirmish war game or whatever. Wow, I was didn't get hit. Okay, he takes 3 hits. Oh, I actually made it. Mutant Chronicles is cool, but it's very much a child from the 90s. Hey, that is not a bad thing for me, okay? Don't diss the 90s. Yes, it's extreme! Extreme! Muscle, steroids, boobs, guns, cyborgs, mutants. 90s! Which is just like the 80s, but like more extreme and a bit more edgy, or a lot more edgy. But I felt like because first I encountered, I think it was called Warzone. I know also Drakkar Odemar, they had I don't know if it was first an RPG, but it was a miniatures war game. I haven't played it, but I did like the art, and I did read about it in a magazine. And it was called Chronopia. and then the designers, first it was its own world, but then it decided they put it on the same planet as Drakar or Demonar, just on the other side of the globe. The art looks really cool. Like, yeah, at that point I was like, well, they're kind of trying to do their own Warhammer, but it had also its own flair, I would say. I don't know. I don't know how good it played. Again, I'm not really into war games. But I'm gonna get this guy now. Probably not a good idea, but I lost 2 hit points. Was also a setting, yeah. Cthulhu I have played. I haven't actually DM'd it, but I played it quite a lot. I had friends who were really into it. I had a friend who also published modules. I don't know, Cthulhu is a very cool game. I think it's like... it has done many cool things, but for me, like a Cthulhu game, it's like a good one-shot game. And I know there's like long, like campaigns, but he's a friend. I have a book that tries to merge the worlds, Altors, Bakshida, but you know, it kind of still doesn't. Yeah, it's hard. Like, I'm a fan of crossovers, but it's also at times hard to like merge 2 flavors and 2 settings. Especially like if you have different magic systems, if you have different... they try to force it, yeah. Well, the Dark Eye also has like a Hollow World setting and whatever. Like, I don't know, like since you're running, I don't know. Everybody who runs a game, any kind of RPG setting, and you start with a published setting, right? Eventually you'll change it anyway. It will be changed by the players. I don't know how you... do you play the game straight? Or have you changed the setting to fit your like needs, or have... I'm sure the players have like affected the world in some way, even if it's minor. Okay. I'm a dungeon master. I usually make my own worlds. I usually too, yes. I don't like published worlds really, but I like I take stuff out of published worlds, and then I use that. But there's some published worlds that are cool. Sometimes I use published worlds as inspiration. When I did modules as a kid, as a younger guy, I tried to run them straight. Now I don't necessarily change. I don't change them if they don't have to be changed, but I usually do change them. And I've placed it in the world. This part is kind of... it's not that hard, but it's also not that easy. I always think you can grab onto this, but... no, you will get me! I think whenever I ran any kind of game, I don't think I mean, I have used published worlds, but I don't know if you ran, if you know Marvel Phase Rip. Well, I make my own worlds because it's easier for me to keep track and remember stuff I made, if I made the setting myself, and I'm also a creative person. I think a lot of people do their own worlds. That's kind of the fun, especially if you're a dungeon master. That's the fun of role-playing. What I like is like bestiaries, like books with like monsters or like stuff in them, like items, artifacts, even sometimes NPCs. Like the few times I have actually ran published worlds is when I do you know Marvel Phase Rip at all? See, this part always messed me up. I forgot. Yeah, you can climb up, yeah. like Marvel Phase Rip is a superhero RPG, and I know for some people that's not their jam. I sometimes use publishing just to get ideas, but I write my own. Yeah, that's how you should do it. Publish adventures, if I do use them. Already, when I put them in the setting, I have to change them if I put them in my own setting because I change names, but only when I feel like it. Like some I can use more straight, but usually I want to change encounters. It's often just better to use ideas, and my players often rarely do anyway, what I think. Never heard of that Marvel one. Yeah, Marvel had multiple RPGs. Okay, maybe I should have just avoided that, but... Wait, maybe I can jump up there. The Marvel Phase Rip was their first one. It was a percentile-based one. And the first version was actually quite easy because it was targeted... It was made by TSR and it was targeted for kids to play it, you know? But it's actually a cool system. I know some people have a problem with it, but I personally like it. And it's still played to this day. Marvel has given up on that engine. They have since then have made... There was 2 other separate RPGs. The latest one, but the latest one is a story game one. How are you with story games? I know I'm a nerd, but I was never that big on superheroes, if I'm honest. Yeah, I know it's the either you are into them or you're not. You know, like that's how it is. Especially with RPGs, it's like there's some people they like the more where characters are more vulnerable, which is fine. I like that too. I like DCC, and I play like what I run now is like OSR games where the players are, especially at first level, they're very like vulnerable, right? And I don't mess around, you know. I let my players do what they want, and I give them challenges, you know. Like at least I start out with something that they can deal with. But if they fuck up and die, they die, you know, and they roll new characters, and they know that, and that's how it goes. Like with Marvel Phase Rip, I had some success running it in a setting when the players were into it. Like I have run it in Marvel, they had like an but I also like to change stuff there. Well, I want to have players feel that the world is dangerous, but not that they can't do stuff. It's a balance. It really is a balance, and you have to really like play. But the thing about it is that I've accepted long ago. For a long time, I tried to control them. I tried to do the railroading when I was younger. I wanted to do them for them to follow my storyline or the module storyline or mine that I've written down. But now I don't write storylines. I just write a setting, an area, and maybe factions or enemies with motivations. And then the players do what they feel like. That's why I like hex crawls a lot. That's something I like to run. Because a hex crawl is really just them fucking around and then encountering stuff, you know, and storylines will emerge organically, you know. I'm not a Matt Mercer kind of guy, so I think him and Critical Role, they have done more harm to the hobby than good, I would say. I guess my guy can't swim. I mean, I have seen... Yeah, I never was that big fan of watching TPT. You know what? The same thing. When I remember when people started doing TTRPGs on YouTube, there was almost nothing there with TTRPGs. And at first it was just people talking about some game, right? And there was very few. And then I never... So Matt Mercer has passed me by. He passed me by too because I attempted to watch some of the stuff, but I just couldn't because it was just really boring. And it was also always this, because now they're like, maybe the earlier ones were more like closer to what an actual RPG session or a D&D session is like. But to me, it's like I have, when I started with, I also got into YouTube RPG stuff, earlier stuff. This was before Matt Mercer, and like he existed, but I don't know if he has done D&D video. Maybe he has, but he wasn't that famous yet. And the other guys were more famous. And then there was this era where people would record sessions, and I did that too. And what I noticed is also that people would do like characters based on how cool it would look, how funny it would be for the YouTube video, right? And that in part is cool, but it's also like people would censor themselves and like, and I've stopped doing that. Like, but there was a time where we did that, you know. There's people that don't do YouTube videos anymore, but, and there was some cool sessions, honestly. I don't mind that were recorded, right? But we didn't, it wasn't like anything like, there wasn't that production. Some people try to do this kind of stuff that they do on Critical Role. But when I played or when I ran a game, it was more like, it was like I would run a game in general, you know. There was rules arguments and everything, and like people fucking around and like arguing or like doing jokes, and we would talk about something else. Like an actual TTRPG session. At least the ones I would run, you know. I mean, D&D really shouldn't be, or role-playing games shouldn't be a performance. It should be a hobby that you play, something that you should play. See, that health potion is in a very precarious area. It's a nice trap. Well, it's a difference in how people run games. There's no wrong way. OFC, but I don't like it when people get a narrow view of how it works. You can have a tighter story or some more open world stuff. You find a group that works for you. I like both, depends. Yeah, okay, look. I'm just telling you, I don't tell to anybody there's a wrong, especially role-playing games is a hobby where there is no wrong, you know, like people can argue rules, but even back in the day I found out it wasn't rules as written. People would come up and house rule stuff, because especially back in the day, rules were written more vaguely. Like I know with wargaming, rules were more of okay, I think that's what you're supposed to do, right? Okay. You're supposed to, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Okay. Well, OFC house rules, I have tons of those. Everybody has. Anybody who has played and ran games, you will eventually have house rules, you know. Even if you're a guy who does rules as written, then that's your house rule. Yeah, I don't do rules as written. It's if a system is good, like my favorite system is now Basic Fantasy RPG. I can run this mostly out of the box, but there's still house rules, you know. I don't have Rule of Cool. I used to have that, but it's not as much. I have now like where you know, you die. I don't fudge rolls. There was a time where it has happened, but that was a long time ago. Because I don't see the point of doing it. Now usually I try to give them a challenge that they can figure out, you know. Like again, and then when it comes to rules, like I know it's different with war games. You really have to, with war games, but war games is a different thing, you know. And as you said, it's to each their own. That's why you have all these different types of RPGs. And some versions where it's like not really an RPG. Like there's people that are like story games. I don't know if you're familiar with story games, where they're technically an RPG, but they're like very rules light, and all the rules are focused on creating a story, a narrative of some sort, you know. Because I would say like if you would have a Venn diagram with the three focuses of RPGs, you would have like strategic combat, or like you would have combat, acting, storytelling. I don't know if combat and strategy you could put in two, because strategy could mean, but I would say that those three, I would say. And most RPGs, they fit in that Venn diagram. And then those games that are the extreme versions of that, like usually heavily combat games, some players assume that was I mostly do open roles as well. Only hidden roles when it's stuff like hiding or searching. Yeah, that's the standard. That's a good way of doing it, I agree. Some players assume I was fudging, so I started doing that with everything. Well, if your players trust you, then they shouldn't assume that you're fudging, right? Because sometimes you'll have crazy rolls. Like you'll have like 2 or 3 20s in a row, you know. It can happen, you know. Like sometimes you can never do a roll that is the AC or whatever. You cannot never hit the target number. But yeah, I know how it is. I had players that I didn't trust and they were trying to cheat. And then we would do online games because a lot of my players, they don't... I mean, in recent years, I've been mostly playing online games. Although now, again, I've been in a part of a role-playing club, so I could play in-person games. I will do hidden rolls still when it comes to like sneaking just to have the surprise, but I won't fudge rolls anymore. Like, I mean, now you have these younger players who say that the DM doesn't have the right to kill off your character, and this is like, I don't know, this is like forum RPG bullshit, which is just purely like just theater kid acting style RPG nonsense. And if you like that, that's cool, then play that. But I just personally am not interested in just sitting around and like doing acting with characters, you know, like, because I don't need combat. Like, I had great sessions where there was no combat going on, but the idea is you present, at least for me, again, you present a simulated world. Even I don't have like these, I don't like too complex games. I have run complex games like Rifts or something, or Sensar, but it's just very exhausting to run. Or even GURPS third edition can be complex. I still believe if you can run it, and it's very modular, so it depends. It can be, if you run it with, trying to run it with as much rules as, then it becomes, yeah, complex, sure. Okay. But okay, here, Escordian, I have a question for you. Since you're in like Sweden and you grew up in Sweden and playing, of course, the Swedish games and whatever, what would you think would be the most popular RPGs in Sweden today? Like homemade like games like Drakar Demonar, like top 5, and also like games from other countries like Cthulhu and stuff like that, or Dungeons and Dragons, or Vampire or whatever. Okay, it's the spike part. See, spike shit. Yeah, I've fudged. You have to really get that timing right with this one. It's not too hard, but... And I couldn't get this health. It's a big health potion. D&D has grown in recent years, but I think Drakar Nomar is still the most popular one. Cthulhu and Vampire are also very popular. Yeah, Cthulhu, Vampire the Masquerade, Europeans do like that, because in Hungary, for the longest time when I grew up, and I didn't, I just came later again back to Hungary. I'm half Hungarian, I'm half American, but I grew up in Germany, and then when I came to Hungary, it was the Magus game, right? Magus, Kalandorok Chronika, that would translate to Chronicle of Heroes, and that was their fantasy game. And that was the RPG, right? Like, as soon as the wall fell in 90, that was like the game that came out, and it was the most popular. But people still played other games too, and Vampire was one of them that was popular, I remember that. And then D&D 3.5 was released, and people liked that a lot, and a lot of stuff was translated officially. Okay. Okay, I think this was my last life. Oh, okay. Still have one. But yeah, I would say that because Magus, the last new edition, was released like They've re-released the original book, but this was an anniversary thing for one of the creators. Died, I think, in last year or 2 years ago, and the company has released a limited edition re-release. But Magus is no. I probably rambled a lot. Sorry. No, Magus is the Hungarian-made RPG that was popular, fantasy RPG in Hungary, right? That's the one that that was the de facto game, and okay, and okay. So that was there. That was there. Like for Germany, it's Das Schwarze Auge, or in Sweden, it's Rache or the Monar or stuff like that, right? Every country that has like, or in Japan, it's Sword World, right? Maybe, but I know there it's like Cthulhu is one of the most popular ones. But the point is that the game stayed being very popular, but the last version that they released, they had the last official that was the newest version, was in like 2011 or something, or even before that, 2008. So it has been a long time, because the reason they didn't release it because there was two companies that held partial rights to the game. One company holds the rights to the rules, to the original rule set, and one holds the rights to the setting, and which is called INEV. And the problem is that because of greed, of course, because it was popular, Magus was popular not only as an RPG, but they also released many fantasy novels. And it used to be the biggest thing in Hungary, and it was right there next to the other popular American stuff, you know. And the problem is, because they couldn't agree, they haven't released a new one. The only reason they released a newer one, but it was just an updated one, an anniversary one, was because one of the creators died. It's kind of sad, and they tried to make a new one, which was more of a story game, because they couldn't use the that one company couldn't use the system, and it's so stupid because the game now with the younger audience has lost like relevance because they don't know it, because no new version has been released in a long time. So you have old grognards, you know, that are now in their 40s, maybe 30s, 40s, 50s, that have played the original game, and so they still play it. And in Germany, they never stopped making the Dark Eye. They are now at their 5th edition, you know, and people play it, and they have video games and stuff like that, which also help the popularity, you know. So it's like where other games now here it's become D&D, you know. But back in the day, World of Darkness, Vampire was popular, Call of Cthulhu also, but Shadowrun too. There was even like a fan made a version. He had a homebrewed version for Hungary in Darkness, like for Shadowrun, Hungary in the Shadowrun universe, and he sent it in, and the Fasfa who does Shadowrun, they actually liked it so much that they released it as a book in Hungary, as an official Shadowrun book. That's one I want to get. Even though Shadowrun is like, I love the setting, but the rules are kind of a bit clunky. At least, but I don't know, maybe the newest edition is I think they're already at the 6th edition. I don't know yet. Okay, this was enough Lionheart. It's a good game, but this is about as far as it can get. Okay, you know what? We'll go a shmup again. But yeah, so you said like Cthulhu and Vamp. I think Call of Cthulhu is just. I don't think they have released some versions of Cthulhu in Hungarian. Now, I think 5th edition still hasn't been released officially into Hungarian. There's a fan translated one, but people still play that, and the only reason they haven't is because of some bullshit things. I do live in Hungary, yes. I live in a Hungarian village. So, I lived in Germany, and I've also lived in America. So, in America I went to college, so Anyway, so let's see here. Um, you know what? I'll play another one that I like, but I suck at. Okay. Okay, I gotta switch the camera again. You should be hearing the music already. Okay, you should be seeing it now. Okay, it has switched by itself. Okay, good. There we go. Now it's good. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're staying with practice. I like how they have one below easy. They just remind you, yeah, you're in baby mode, yeah. You loser. I like the team mode. I found it interesting that they have this one, the simulate. I think the one where the other guy plays the little bee, but that one doesn't die until the other one dies. That one is kind of interesting. We'll do auto. I think it's better than second button, but okay. I remember when I played this as a kid, because this is one of the games I have played as a kid. I was just like, it's a shmup and you're a bee? What? I think everybody reacted like that. No, you're actually an anime wizard who's changed into a bee to fight the demonic hordes that just happen to look like other, like, insects. And I know later on it becomes like, you're like in a sci-fi level or whatever, because developers like to take hallucinogenics. Not really. I think, especially with shmups, it was like... I wish this had a rapid shoot mode, like where you can just push down the button. But it has a charged weapon, so... It's like R-type. I don't think the story is dumb. I think it's interesting, but that's me. I like weird stuff like that. That's what, especially with the Amiga. I mean, hey, look, Agony, you're a wizard in training. Oh, god damn it! And you are like doing a you also morph into an owl. So, but if you don't read the story, you don't know that, right? I mean, dumb. What's dumb? I don't know. I personally like weird stuff like that because it's something different. It's not everyone's taste, but I mean, 99% of shmups is you're either a space guy fighting aliens in a spaceship, or you're a military guy fighting other military guy in a jet or in a helicopter. Hey, it's insane. Okay, it's weird. Let me say that. They were really trying to be something different, right? It's like an anime-themed game, and it's already like written like it's the second game. This was the time where developers were these weird guys and they just fucked around at times, you know? They were like, well, you know, like... I mean, Choaniki's kind of dumb, but I like it. And that wasn't made intentionally dumb, you know? Or Parodius or whatever. But they're fun games. God damn it. My first run was promising, but then... I got killed by the ground. You know what? The funny thing is, as a kid, I think we always just skipped the cutscene, and I never seen it as a kid. So I never knew this thing. I thought it was literally the War of the Bugs. But that was the thing, especially like with action games, nobody cared about the storyline. Even with RPGs, it was like, maybe, but... RPGs and adventure games, storyline is more of a thing. War of the Bugs makes more sense. Yeah, but why does the bee fight everything, right? I mean, you could argue with that. I mean, it's not supposed to be realistic. And also, why does bees shoot, you know? I mean, if it's bees worth is wasps, you know, but here it's like, what, mosquitoes, right? Okay, the bigger bugs want to eat you maybe, but... I guess it's your poison that you're shooting. Also, the music is fucking amazing. Even for Amiga, that's like top. I think it's Hosbeck or whatever. Oh my god, again a fucking... Okay. I'm not gonna allow that. Like, okay, we gonna do this. I have moderation. Okay. Click on him. Freaking spam bot. We fight the bots. Okay. This is like fighting Skynet, kind of. Okay. I don't see that message. It's a spam bot. Maybe you don't see him because you have him already blocked. Okay, I want to erase the message as well. I don't know if that's possible. Maybe you don't see him because I banned him. Or maybe you have already banned him, whatever. Or it. Anyway. Oh no, I pushed F12 on my dash and it shows all this stuff. Okay, whatever. I think actually Apedia has a pause. Forgot this has like the Gradius leveling. Wait, can you pick up the are the mushrooms actually good? I forgot. I think they are. By the way, speaking of Twitch stuff, since I know you're new to Twitch, when you end a stream, it's good to raid out. That way you send your viewers to someone similar. Also, it makes you more known to other people around Twitch. It's a great way to expand your network. I do know that. I didn't have the chance yet to do that. I will do this if I have a couple of viewers, then I will do this. Yes, I have heard of the raid out. And I see it here in the dash thing. So it says here, raid channel. Now, I didn't have enough viewers. Last time I streamed, there was no viewers left. But even with one viewer, I will do it, okay? If you're still here, I will raid you out. I will find somebody. I have the link here to the Amiga April. I've been waiting to do that. I think it's actually very hype. I'll do it even with one viewer. Last time there weren't any viewers left. So, and I agree it's worth also with one viewer. I mean, I've been also trying to promote the channel and stuff, my socials, appropriate socials. But it is, you know, there's a stream of other people can watch, so it's hard to stick out. I always say that the internet, everybody can do everything, but it's like the infinite, like Arabian marketplace, if that says, you know, only the loudest voice will be heard. Some have like megaphone. Oh, come on. Bizarre. Thank you. I didn't think of. I was trying to think of that, and I didn't came to mind. I think a bee can land on the ground. Game. Come on. This is just normal ground. Legendary wings. You can land on the ground. You're an angel person, either woman or man, and you can land on the ground when you do the side-scrolling missions. But anyway, I'll raid you out if you're still here when I'm done, for sure. Or anybody else, yeah. I mean, actually, like, honestly, like, Amiga is also, like, I've seen some good streams where there's, like, but 40 viewers in an Amiga stream, I felt like that's really, really good, you know? Because it's, like, it's a retro game, you know? It's not, like, something where they, like, I mean, some people do challenges and whatever, like, speed runs. But I felt like the most of the speed runs nowadays, it's either, like, Nintendo and stuff, and Americans still don't know Amiga that well. I mean, some do, but because they had like, this is more of a European thing. They had the C64, but and it's also like an age thing. I mean, some younger people they like retro stuff, but okay, yeah. I can get invulnerability, right? Of course. But the only problem is because you have to tap it and it doesn't have auto. I gotta figure out with emulators if there's maybe the Amiga Live one has some good cheats with an auto tapper. Well, most young people that know retro only know Nintendo and Sega. That's because most media online, yeah, they talk about. It's also because it's mostly American people, so they will talk about like it's like guys like AVGN, you know, he was more into Nintendo, and then he has mentioned like he had an episode on C64, like he had like when he played the Transformers game or whatever, or he made like one episode about the Amiga 32X, whatever but the games he played, it was just kind of disappointing because it's like you're not playing. I know it's like he didn't even play the shittiest games, honestly, because the shittiest games in Amiga, the true turd gems are on the Amiga, you know, itself. I mean, there's because usually the CD32 they ported games that were at least decent looking, even if they didn't play well. Usually they were like the better games, you know. Like with fighting games, they like ported games that were at least better looking, or at least one of the better ones. And he didn't understand it. Yeah, he didn't understand it, and it's not a Nintendo, and it's not a platformer, so he doesn't understand it. You know, it's not Contra. I mean, he's a guy who he never like. I mean, to be honest, the AVGN is not a good example because he does his show. It's a show, and there's much better retro channels that do like nowadays. Almost nothing. To be honest, nothing is like really obscure anymore because you have like channels that talk about these old games, and I've seen young guys, you know, in their 20s or even younger, they play like old games, you know, and that's really cool. There's this really cool channel that talks about DOS games, you know. Yeah, that fucking this part hurting me. He didn't do a good job at presenting it, but again, nowadays you have like you have people that only talk about the ZX Spectrum or something like that, or the Amstrad or whatever the fuck, you know. So, and people eat this shit up. Even if they don't play the game, at least they know now, okay, you know, like, there was this game. There was a game called Turrican or whatever. Or there's a game called Epedia, which kicks my ass. Yeah, my teenage nephew thought my retro stuff was really cool when he saw it, and Warren wanted to try it. See, because I'm not saying every game they'll like, because there's with every system there's shit tier games, but there's games that would transcend generations, and these games were, especially back then, games were made for usually for kids. I mean, certain genres were made for like even back then more for adults or teenagers, like flight simulators or strategy games or management sims, you know. But stuff like platformers, shoot 'em up, stuff like that, or beat 'em ups. You know what? Fuck it. We'll play. Speaking of beat 'em ups, I think it's time. Okay. You know what? No, I won't play Franco just yet. I'll play this one. I think I tried this one. This one was probably going to be like a clunky barbarian simulator, but not very good. But I love the name and the box art and stuff, but it's probably going to be disappointing. So, but we'll try it out anyway. I don't know if you tried this one. Okay, wait. It's not showing up on the screen. So I gotta do some little black magic here. Well, not really, but properties. There we go. There we go. And we got to see this beautiful cutscene, which honestly I kind of enjoy. It's kind of stupid. Oh yeah, I have played this. Sword of Abandon. Archmagician Nephros, acting Grand Commander of what remained of the Society for Creative Armageddon. Okay, Society of Creative Armageddon. I like that. Stood silently watching the faces of the assembled sorcerers. Fellow masters of the uttermost circles of enchantment, he began. Someone sneezed. Yarkon Thorn. Necromancer General from the League of Exceptionally Evil. Okay, they're having fun here. Come on. For this game, having this much lore, well, they're going deep with the lore, as the kids would say now. Nephros glared at him and made a mental note that as soon as it was politically possible, he would turn the rake-thin leaguer into something unspeakably nasty, preferably several miles under the ground. Okay, there was like... It's probably not English speakers who wrote this. He started again. Okay, whatever. I don't have time for the fucking... Your DM notes, my friend. Karn the Barbarian. The mischief was called Karn the Barbarian. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Just let me play the game. Jesus Christ, there's RPGs that don't have that much text. Even before you play this game, you have to read a book. Yes. Look. They would have this stuff in manuals, which can be really cool, but... I mean, this is no joke. This is a novel right here. I mean, come on. One day I will read this. One day. Because I think I did try this out because of the stupid music. Maybe there was a way to skip all of it. Okay, there's 2 runes. Magician. Oh yeah, that was the Okay, yeah. Oh my god, yeah. This is a clunky barbarian simulator. Come on! I'm Conan! Oh my god, this is bad. Okay. Of course, the first guy I swing at, I cannot hit him, the goblin. Okay, I have this. This wants to be a barbarian so bad. But like the second one, which was bad already. This has some cool parallax, but that's about it. Yeah, graphically, yeah, this looks good. But again, Amiga effect, right? And clunky barbarian simulator. Okay, I can hit him like this. Okay, giant chicken, goblins, and giant chicken. This chicken is like has the triple body mass of me. You know, if I would eat this chicken, that would be a good protein source. You know. Okay, we have an ogre here or a giant of some sort. Okay. Can I hit the chicken? A little bit. Animation's over animated. I do like the sword. The sword looks badass. It's like Conan's sword, but a little bit more wicked looking, right? So is the blue energy, is that my hit points? Okay, he farts at me. That's great. Like, it literally gives birth to farts, right? You know what? This is kind of a lolsy game. I like this. It's like a bad game, yes, for sure. But again, this is not the worst game I've played on Amiga, for sure. The frame rate is not that great. Okay, here we have the 3 trolls from The Hobbit, apparently, or giants. I can kill the giant with 1 hit. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. I guess if I hit him right in the brain or something. Okay. I don't think I've played this, but the music has been used. I think the music has been used before in another game. I have played quite a few of the games where you play a barbarian. So I'm a big Conan fan. Good or bad. Oh, I never killed them. I just ran past them. You can't do that. But dude, they died from one hit. Like, what kind of... This is like, if this is D&D and I have like 3 fucking ogres or giants, they have like... But at least they gave you at least... Okay, maybe you have like a... You just never tried. Well, you know. Well, look. Maybe, you know, you hit them right at their brain or at their neck. You know, I could see that. I like the sound of the goblins dying and the chickens. The enemies... Okay, we have pitchfork goblins now. Scaldia. I'm in the land of Scaldia. Okay. Okay. Can I... Okay. This is now it's becoming actual bullshit because... Yeah. The frame rate is a bit bad. But the parallax scrolling is very impressive. Especially, I think this is Amiga 600 game. So OCR of some sort. That's what the emulator said. Okay, Baby Dragon. I don't know if you've seen the old 80s fantasy Dragon Slayer, where there's a scene with baby dragons. And it's a Disney movie and it was PG. It's kind of brutal for that. Give it a dragon. Pissed at me because I killed its babies. I can't run away. Sorry, the game won't allow me. Okay. Okay. My hit points. Fire. I mean, compares it to another barbarian-themed platformer like Unreal. Okay. There's when he licks his lips. See? One hit. I killed the fucking dragon. It's a 500 game. It's just the VHD installer, and the VHD installer requires Kickstart 2AX, which is 600. Okay, yeah. So with 600 has, yeah. Okay, so it's just it needs the Kickstart, right? Okay. Graphically, I mean, it's bad, but again, it's not so bad because at least here, it's like you have to. It's just about timing, so it's more of a puzzle platformer almost. But your controls are very clunky. I don't know. I'm in Meads. The biggest bullshit for me were the pitchfork goblins because their range was longer than my hit, and also that the animation is like too detailed, which is often a problem with these games. Okay, this one jumps. Yeah, so the hit detection is all over the place. That's the biggest issue. Frame rate. Now, it could be my emulator, but I don't think so. I think this ran just like this on an actual Amiga as well. But hey, man, I killed 3 giants and a dragon and tons of... The chickens I haven't killed yet. I haven't killed a giant chicken yet. I mean, after giants and dragons, what is... It's a fucking dramatic death right here. Yehudi, Lord of Violence. Yehudi, okay, the Violent Lord. Leonard Conan, I like that. Fred the Guppy. Atlantean Stormlord, like the game, right? Michael Fish. Reaver of the Night. Oh, it's the rhythm of the night. Kevin the Barbarian. The Spirit of the Sword. Bannon, Lord of Violence. I like the names here. That's pretty funny. Yeah, the little bit I read from the intro story, they were like very cheeky. Fred the Guppy? Okay, yeah, I'll try that out. But you know what? Just for torture, I'm going to play this again because I'm kind of liking this game. As bad as it is. You know what? I'm gonna be nice to this game. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 stars out of 5. Like, it's bad, but it's like almost playable. Like, It would have some better music. Well, if it had only music on the very beginning, but I think that music they used in another game because there was a similar game that had that music, which maybe it's from a music like a library that they used. Jesus Christ. How is it that I got so far the first time and now I just fucking died? Do I continue from that same... No, it's Medius. Okay, it's not the first level. Okay, okay. So I have infinite continues? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, the Fred the Guppy. I heard that name for a game. Stormlord or Stormbringer is also a game. Yeah, I know with some Amiga games either they had music or they had sound, but they couldn't have both. Some games could figure it out. I think maybe it's the 1200 games, some of them. There was probably some kind of limitation with... Okay, these ravens are more of an issue than anything. I don't have a fast enough chop. Okay, this is my last... Is that number the number of... Because... Okay. Amiga has 4 sound channels. Some games do live sound mixing in software, but it takes compute power. Yeah. Well, you're running so much stuff, okay, and yeah, I got that. Okay, so I could kill it, but it still hit me, the Raven. So even me going forward does make gives me points, right? Yeah, I will say this is a 2.5 out of. So it's a bad game, but just not as bad. Like, I've certainly played worse games. Okay, my alarm went off. Like this, if they polished up the game and focused on the gameplay and fixed the frame rate and the hit detection. Okay, those are kind of cool enemies, but okay. Okay, yeah, it's the and it seems like it has infinite continues. I'll go one more time. That can't be that bad if I want to play it again, so. Okay. I think this will be my last game. So, Escordian, you will be my first official person that I raid. So we'll have a one-man army to raid the other channel. Which should work, because I'm sure you're a level 20... What would be your class? Fighter, wizard, multi-class? I have 3 viewers right now. Okay, well, let's just shut up. I didn't even look at that. Sorry, other viewers. I know one viewer is probably me, so... But still, 2 viewers. But you know what? If I go out of my body, if I astral project, then I think that does count, you know. Okay, this one is just better to dodge. These are like Sturgs in D&D. Like those... Can I kill them? Yeah. Although it's not necessary, but... Okay, that's a little bit... Again, hit detection is really clumsy. But 3 viewers, yes, I'll count it. I'll take it. Because I don't know if you played the second Barbarian game, but... It doesn't count me? So it's then a 3, okay. It's 3. 4, sorry. Sorry, viewers. Because I know there's people they don't sometimes I also just like to watch stream. Okay. Okay, the snake. I think one thing... Okay. Okay. That's a cool animation for the death. I've played all Barbarian games because of my viewers like to make me suffer on Fridays. This animation looks really... I mean, look at this. I do find it ridiculous. You start with 3 giants, then a dragon, massive dragon, and then, okay, it's a giant snake, like an anaconda, but wouldn't the anaconda be better? It looks nice. Now, I'm not saying it plays nice. It's a bad game. But, oh! Oh, that's how we're playing game. You little bastard. I'm gonna be killed by a fucking wiggling tail. Like the... No, I'm not gonna be. Fuck that. I still killed it. It counts. No, I tried. Do I start with the boss? Okay. If I die here, it's done. The game pissed me off. GG. Yeah. No, not yet. This is not my final thing. Then it's gonna be GG. But I still killed it. Fuck it. Also, the game should heal you up then for every level, or give you some kind of at least an option with the healing item. So there's some things you could fix to make this at least a decent game, you know. But a lot of, I mean, that's why, like the final fight, where they made it better. I think that's a great idea to show that it would have been possible. Okay, that was it. Killed by the Raven. Okay. I don't regret playing this. But then again, I have a soft spot for the clunky barbarian simulators. Okay, guys. I'll check out the channel to stream to. You gotta look here. If you have a recommended, thank you. GG. I'm looking on who's streaming at the moment. Somebody who doesn't have many. If you have a recommendation, core classmen is good people. Okay, I'll do core classmen. I don't. Let me see here. Okay, this is my first raid, guys. But we'll do it. Okay. He's got 7 viewers. Okay, why not have more? Yeah. More! Okay. Let me do this quick. It said here quick actions. Okay, there is raid channel. Got it. And I want to just give me the. There we go. And okay, guys. So for the Death Mug of Doom, and it was fun. Escordian, thank you for being here, and everybody else who has watched. So I'm gonna start the raid now. And yeah. Linford Picker is cool. I would have sent it to him. I have been on his stream, but it's been core classman. Anyway, see you guys. Oh, we're raiding in like, okay, I've still got a minute. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna do raid now. Okay, guys. Yeah, for the Death Mug of Doom, and see you next time I stream. So I'll figure out a schedule eventually. So anyway, Escordian incoming. We're going streaming raiding now.
Acá que era.
Policía y usted.
Ah, el
Matar
policía.
al policía.
Ahora. Soy yo.
Ya. Es que si yo soy el policía, era como que.
No te lo puedo creer. Dark
Vamos todos para allá. Que no puedo.
Dark back with the raid. Thank you so much for the raid. Everybody give a follow to Darakba. Welcome to Amiga April. Brother Inance, thank you for the follow. We are playing Blues Brothers with co-op. ¿Cómo hacemos acá? Hay otra acá. No, no me puedo agachar. Siento que no me puedo agachar.
Mira, y acá está la vida.
No, la vez está. O sí, a ver, no, no, no sé dónde estoy. Agarra la. Esa, Thank you for that introduction. Oh,
Tengo que bajar 2 pi.
yes, with my real brother, we are doing co-op. Claro, es que hay que correr acá.
Para.
Dale, dale, dale.
Corre, vos, corre.
Ajá,
Ah, va.
ahí, acá. No, acá se
Ahí
puede.
es bajar, saltar, seguir para abajo.
Ahí, así. Sí. No.
Y acá es matar enemigos.
Bueno, acá hay que hacer así, no hay que chulearle al policía y listo. Y venirse hasta el final y tirarse. Se me había una vida acá. De verdad. No. Ah, que ahora me siguen a mí por eso. Quedaba uno, creo. Oh, man. Ah, no he visto el corazón.